Hello children and welcome again to Promiseland. I hope you've had a good week. We've got a really fun time lined up for you now. As ever, we're going to have some songs, we're going to have Bible stories, we're going to have craft and... Wait a minute! You mean it's that time already? Well, yes it is. So let's try that again. It's game time! That's right, to mix things up a bit this week, we're going to start with a game, but not just one game. We've got a two-part game today. So we're going to have part one now and part two a bit later. So, are you ready for a game? All right then, well, it's over to the Mash family. Over to you, Mashes.
And welcome to game time at Promiseland. Can everyone see Milo? Give us a wave, Milo. Whoop, whoop. Now he's going to duck down in a minute and he's going to suddenly reappear. Well, I wonder, is he going to reappear left or right? Okay, down you go, Milo. What do you think? Is it going to be left or right? Oh, there he is! It was the right! Ah, well done if you guessed correctly. Right, come back to the middle, Milo. Let's go again. So he's going to go down again in a minute. Oh, he's gone already. What do you think, Alan?
Well, I don't know. He's on very good form today. Based on oh, he's up already.
Oh, there he is. He went right again. Very good. Just wonder if you guys got that right at home. Right, he's gone down. Oh, he's going down again. Oh, he's just lost his shoe.
Oh, there's a dog on the pitch.
This would
Pitch invasion.
This might be fun.
Dougie.
This might be fun to do this bit.
Dougie. Right, Lenny. Once Dougie's out of the way, which way do you think Milo's going to go? And no peeking.
I think he's going to go to the left.
To the left. Ooh, okay. Going down. Where's he going to go? Let's keep an eye out. Oh, you were right, Lenny. He went left. Very good. Come back to the middle, Milo. Fourth one coming up. And down he goes. Right. What do you think, Evan and Alan?
Oh,
well, Bob, I really don't know. He's doing so well today. He's been training for months.
Oh, he went right again. Ooh, that's 3 rights and 1 left so far, isn't it?
Why don't we ask Dougie?
Why don't we ask Dougie? Dougie, what do you think? Oh, what's he going to do? Oh, Dougie, I don't care. Okay, so he's going to go down for one last time, I think, Milo. Well, should we do one more, Milo? Okay, right, so down he goes. Is he going to go left or right?
I think right.
You think right, do you, Len?
Yeah.
Let's see, where is he going to appear? Oh, it was a trick one. He stayed exactly where he was. Who'd have thought it? Well done, Milo. And well done, you guys at home, for playing the game. I hope you enjoyed it. Back to Nev.
Yes, we did enjoy it and we are looking forward to part two of a slightly different version of that game a bit later on. Now that game, in fact, reminded me of our story that we've been looking at over the last few weeks. When Milo then just disappeared, it was like he disappeared down into the unknown. Well, our story last week that we were looking at, we saw how Joseph disappeared into a pit, almost for him down into the unknown. I wonder what that must have been like for Joseph. I wonder how he must have felt down there, not knowing how long he would be there. Was God still with him? Well, this part of the story of Joseph actually reminds me of another story in this book, as you all know, which is called the Bible, that's right, or as we like to call it, God's Big Story. And this story, it reminds me of the story of Jonah, also in the Old Testament, right near the end of the Old Testament. And so I thought we could hear this story right now. So we're going to watch a short video which will tell us the story of Jonah.
Heroes of the Bible, Jonah. This is Jonah. Jonah was a prophet. That means it was his job to tell people what God told him to say.
Yep.
One day, God told Jonah to go to Nineveh because the people of Nineveh were doing bad things. But instead, Jonah ran away. And went to the port to board a ship, going the other way. He was hoping to get away from God. He sailed for a place called Tarshish. While he was at sea, God sent a great and powerful wind over the sea that caused a storm that seemed like it would break the ship apart. Fearing for their lives, the sailors tried everything they could think of to save the ship. Meanwhile, Jonah was sound asleep, so the captain went down and said, "How can you sleep at a time like this? Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he will help us." Then the crew figured out that Jonah was the reason for the storm. And they asked him, "Who are you? Why is this happening to us?" Jonah told them who he was and that he worshiped the one true God who made the sea. Then he told the sailors to throw him in the sea so the storm would stop.
No, why?
The sailors still tried to escape the storm, but it was no use. So they asked God for forgiveness and threw Jonah into the sea. The storm stopped at once.
Whoa!
The sailors were amazed at God's power and they vowed to serve him. Now God sent a great fish to swallow Jonah.
Great.
And Jonah was inside the fish for 3 days and nights. Jonah prayed to God from inside the fish, and God ordered the fish to spit Jonah out.
Yuck.
God told Jonah again to go to the city of Nineveh to tell them what God had said about them.
I get it.
This time, Jonah obeyed God and went to Nineveh to deliver God's message. The people of Nineveh stopped doing bad things and turned to God. They were saved because they listened to the message that God had given Jonah.
Wow, great story, hey? Now, you might be wondering why that story reminded me of the story of Joseph that we've been looking at. I mean, Jonah ran away from God, but Joseph didn't run away from God like he did. So why did it remind me of that story? Well, this is the reason why. It's because of this particular part in the story. Jonah was put into the darkness of the big fish, and Joseph was put into the darkness of the pit. You see, God had plans for both of these characters, plans to use them to help many, many people. But in the darkness of these situations that they both found themselves in, they must have each had this moment of thinking, what's going to happen next? Is God going to rescue me? Can I trust in him? Well, in the Bible, it says this: cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. And it says these words in Psalm 55 and verse 22. It then actually goes on to say, and he will never let the righteous fall. Now, if you know and love Jesus and live for him, then you are considered righteous through Jesus, through his death and his coming back to life for you. So God will never let you and I, if you're one of his righteous people, fall. He will look after you. He'll take care of you. So if you ever feel like you're in a situation a bit like Joseph and Jonah were, in the darkness, thinking, what is going on? When am I going to get out of this? What's going to happen next? For example, like the situation we all find ourselves in right now with this coronavirus. How long am I going to have to stay indoors? When am I going to go back to school? What's going to happen next? Do you know what God is wanting you to do? He's wanting you to do what both Jonah and Joseph learnt to do in their stories. They came to learn and realize that they needed to look to God. They needed to trust in Him in those difficult times. And so that's why this verse I just mentioned, Psalm 55:22, is such a good one to know and to learn. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to sing a song together. This one we've done before in Promiseland if you've been with us for a number of years. And it's based on this verse. So by the time we finish singing it, hopefully you will have learned this Bible verse. And there are some simple actions that we like to do with it. So it goes like this. You can learn these with me. It says, cast your cares. So what we're doing there is taking our cares, our worries from our mind, taking them away. Cast your cares on the Lord. So give them to God. And He will sustain you, which means He will help you. He will keep you going. And then we say again, He will sustain you. And then it says, He will never, 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 never let the righteous fall. Let the righteous fall. No. Okay, the song's added a few extra nevers, but it emphasizes the point. He will never let the righteous, you and I, if you know Him, fall. He will never let us fall. He will keep us. And He knows what's going to happen next. So great. Let's use this song now.
Psalm 55:22.
Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will sustain you. Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will sustain you. He will never, never, never let the righteous fall. Let the righteous fall. No, He will never, never, never let the righteous fall. Let the righteous fall. No. Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. Sustain you. I said, cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will sustain you. And He will never, never, never let the righteous fall. Let the righteous fall. No. He will never, never, never let the righteous fall. Let the righteous fall. No.
Psalm 55:22.
Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will sustain you. I said, cast your cares on the Lord, He will sustain you. He will sustain you. He will never, never, never let the righteous on the Lord. Let the righteous sustain you. No, said He will never, never, never let the righteous on the Lord. Let the righteous sustain you. No, He will never, never, never let the righteous on the Lord. Let the righteous sustain you. No, said He will never, never, never let the righteous on the Lord.
Yes, thank you, Lord, that we can cast our cares on You and You will sustain us. You will never let the righteous fall. Amen. All right, wonderful. Now, you know what it's time for? That's right, it's game time! That's right, game time part 2. So, it's time for us to go over once again to the mashes to find out what the second part of our game is today. Over to you.
Okay, welcome back to round 2 of the games. For this game, we will be asking you the question, what size portion of mash would you like? Would you like a large portion, a medium-sized portion, or a small portion? So in a moment, all the mashes will disappear. You will need to guess which size one will pop up next. Mashes, disappear please. Right, will it be a large helping, a medium-sized helping, or a small helping?
Oh, I'm quite hungry. I quite fancy a large helping. I wonder what it's going to be. Can you guess at home?
Oh, it was a small helping first. All right, down you go. Let's see, have a guess. Which size is going to pop up next?
Large helping
Medium.
or small helping of mash?
Oh, medium.
medium.
Down he goes. Let's see, who's it going to be next? Large, medium, or small?
Ooh. Well, I'd kind of go large, I think.
Oh, you were correct. Now we've had one of each. There will be 2 more rounds. Who do you think it will be?
You're going a bit Australian.
For the 4th round?
You're Australian. Australian.
Okay, I can go Australian if you like. Right, this is very exciting at this point. Who's it going to be? Large, medium, or small? When you're ready, boys. Oh, look at that! It was a small portion.
It's a small portion on the other side of the pitch.
Controversial. All right, well, this is our final one. Who will it be? Will it be the largest mash, the medium-sized mash? Oh, look at that! It's all 3 of them. I thought for a moment the dog was the surprise. That was a bonus. All 3 mashes at once.
Yay!
Thank you very much for our fine performance, mashes.
Back to you, Nev.
Yes, what a fine performance indeed from all the MASH family there, even Dougie. So thank you all of you. Brilliant games today. Now, you might remember that last week I set a task to do a craft based on the verse Romans 5 verse 8. Christ died for us. And I was very pleased to receive a piece of craft done by a member of our youth group, a former Promiselander, Noah. Have a look at this. Here he is, here's Noah. He's done a bit of artwork for us and I love this. I love that you've done this, Noah, and I love the picture that you've done here. What an incredible scene showing the crucifixion, the death of Jesus on the cross for our sins. Jesus, Christ, he died for us. And then below you can see the empty tomb, which reminds us that he will go into that tomb and then he will come out of it again as he is raised to life. Well, great job, Noah. And yes, we are happy to receive art submissions, not only from those who are in Promiseland, but our slightly bigger children too. So you're all welcome to send in your artwork if you would like. And here is another piece of artwork from Ethan and Isabella. They've been working hard again, and this time you've created a 3-dimensional version of the image, very similar to what Noah just did for us. Very nice there with the 3 crosses on there. And again, the verse, Christ died for us. And right underneath you both, baby Ezra, looking so peaceful. Ah, lovely. Well done, both of you, or all 3 of you, should I say. Now it's time to see what our craft is for this week. Your challenge this week is to make your very own Jonah fish. So take a piece of paper, I've chosen blue, fold it in half, take some scissors and cut a line just part way down and then fold. Then unfold, open up, and this is slightly fiddly bit. Try and refold those folds to make a kind of pop-up type book. Don't worry if it's not completely neat. Then as you open it up, you should create a fish mouth. Now what you're going to do is put that to one side, get another piece of paper, I've chosen a different colour, red. If you've got a different colour, great. If not, don't worry. Fold it in half and then put your other piece on it, and with a pencil lightly draw around to make a shape so that you know where you're going to draw your Jonah character. There he is. Or you could draw yourself if you prefer. Once you've done that, you can place your first piece of paper on top of it. Open it up and look. Jonah is now in the big fish's mouth. But of course now we need to draw the fish. So we put some eyes, draw around, do a body with some details and some bubbles. Hello. I've eaten Jonah. Very nice. Then you can write the verse. Cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. Psalm 55:22. And there you have it. But one final thing, just to secure it in place, just take some tape and tape the two bits of paper together. And there you have it, your very own Jonah fish with a Jonah in it and a verse to remind you when times are hard, God will sustain you. Yes, he will. Oh. Wonderful. So, as ever, if you manage to do that, then feel free to send in what you've done to promiseland@communitychurchputney.com and we will make sure we show it next week. All right, we're nearly out of time, but there's time for one final song. And this song is a reminder of what we do, a reminder of what we've looked at this morning, that whatever situation we may find ourselves in, we are to look to God and remind ourselves that our God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing our God cannot do. A clue for some of the actions there. So, come on everyone, up on your feet. Come on, up on your... I know it's been a long morning, but up on your feet. That's it. Let's use all our bodies. Let's use our voices. Let's use our arms. And let's do these actions, remind ourselves of some great truth, and sing praises to God as we do so.
My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. In the beginning, God made everything. God simply spoke and the world came to be. He sent a flood and made everything new. He parted the sea and let his people walk through. He held
Wonderful. Well, thanks for joining us again. And from myself and all the Promiseland team, have a great week and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.